Lewis Hamilton, the most successful driver in F1 history, just got ripped apart by Italian newspapers after one of the worst seasons of his entire career. What was meant to be his fairy tale move to Ferrari has turned into a public embarrassment, with the media calling him a mistake, a ghost, and even a retirement case. And it's not just headline sources say Ferrari's own executives are now rethinking everything about Hamilton's future with the team. If you think this story's already crazy, just wait. Hit that subscribe button and get ready, because what's coming next could end Hamilton's career forever. Lewis Hamilton's arrival at Ferrari was one of the most anticipated moves in modern Formula One history. The headlines hailed it as the final chapter of a legendary career, the moment when the most decorated driver would join the sport's most iconic team. But what followed was far from legendary. As the 2025 season collapsed into frustration and underperformance, the tone in Italy shifted rapidly. Now, the same media outlets that once called him a hero are leading a relentless campaign of criticism, and they're not pulling any punches. In a country where Ferrari is worshipped like a national treasure, failure is never private, it's public, loud, and often unforgiving. Gazzetta dello Sport called Hamilton's first year in red an experiment that failed with historic consequences, while Corriere dello Sport labeled him a misplaced symbol of past glories. These aren't opinion pieces, they're attacks. And they're echoing across newsstands, TV panels, and social media feeds every single race weekend. The criticism goes beyond lap times or finishing positions. Italian journalists are dissecting his attitude, his body language, even his commitment. Articles have accused him of being emotionally disconnected, more interested in lifestyle appearances than technical feedback. Others suggest he has never truly embraced the soul of Ferrari, that he remains an outsider in a team that demands emotional immersion. The message is clear. Hamilton may have joined Ferrari, but he never became Ferrari. And when it comes to stats, the press has weaponized every number. 0 wins, no poles, routinely outqualified by Charles Leclerc. Ferrari fans, already known for their passion, have turned cold. The media reflects that mood, treating each missed opportunity not as a disappointment, but as a betrayal. To them, Hamilton wasn't just supposed to be fast, he was supposed to bring glory. Instead, he brought confusion, inconsistency, and questions. Some outlets have even taken aim at his legacy. A recent editorial in Tuttosport asked whether Hamilton's previous success was more about Mercedes than talent. It's a shocking stance given his 7 world titles, but in Italy, emotion often outweighs logic. This isn't about balance, it's about drama, and the Italian press thrives on it. Their verdict? He's not the driver Ferrari needed. In fact, some argue he's become the symbol of everything the team must leave behind. The backlash isn't isolated to print either. Television commentators across Sky Italia and RAI have become increasingly vocal. Debates rage over whether Ferrari should cut ties early, despite the cost. Pundits have openly questioned his motivation and fitness to adapt to modern F1 demands. The press has built a narrative that Hamilton is no longer a leader, but a distraction, a legend whose timing may have finally betrayed him. And now, with the 2026 season looming and media pressure reaching boiling point, the situation has reached critical mass. Ferrari cannot shield him forever. And if the team doesn't act quickly either with public backing or strategic pivot, the Italian press may end up doing what no rival driver could: force Lewis Hamilton out of Formula One, not through racing, but through reputation. Inside Ferrari's headquarters in Maranello, the atmosphere has gone from tense to outright volatile. As the Italian media escalates its assault on Hamilton, the leadership is under immense pressure to respond not just with words, but with action. What was once a calculated risk, signing the sport's most successful driver, is now being reviewed as a possible strategic failure. And the questions being asked in the boardroom are more direct than ever. Did we make a mistake bringing Hamilton to Ferrari? John Elkann, Ferrari's executive chairman and ultimate power broker, is said to be deeply concerned by both the team's on-track performance and its perception in the public eye. When Hamilton was signed, Elkann envisioned a rebirth of Ferrari dominance. Instead, he's witnessing the team become a headline for all the wrong reasons. With the Italian press calling for answers and fans growing restless, Elkann's trust in the project is showing signs of erosion. Team principal Frederick Vasseur, who personally championed Hamilton's recruitment, is now walking a dangerous tightrope. Behind the scenes, sources suggest that Vasseur is fighting to protect Hamilton's position, arguing that the driver deserves another season under the new 2026 regulations. But others within Ferrari's leadership disagree. They argue that the team is losing focus, that Leclerc is being compromised, and that the brand is suffering under the weight of one man's declining form. Engineering departments are reportedly split. Some support Hamilton, pointing to his technical knowledge and simulator input, but others are frustrated. They claim Hamilton's feedback is out of sync with the car's development path, and that integrating his preferences has cost the team precious development time. The 2025 campaign was supposed to be about evolution. Instead, it became a season of conflict between philosophies, personalities, and priorities. Ferrari's commercial division is also raising concerns. Hamilton's global brand was meant to boost Ferrari's visibility in key markets, particularly in the US. But after a winless season, that narrative is crumbling. Sponsors are asking questions. Ratings have dipped. Merchandising connected to Hamilton hasn't delivered the expected results. The brand association that once felt like a golden ticket is now under review, and that review is turning increasingly critical. One of the most alarming developments is the shift in Leclerc's position within the team. As Hamilton struggles, Leclerc has quietly consolidated power. His feedback is being prioritized. His development direction is being followed. And his popularity, especially in Italy, has become a stabilizing force. Some insiders now believe the team is functionally being rebuilt around Leclerc, and that Hamilton's presence, far from helping, may be complicating the process. The leadership knows that another year like 2025 could be catastrophic, not just for Hamilton's legacy, but for Ferrari's competitive roadmap. With the 2026 regulation changes on the horizon, Ferrari cannot afford another misalignment of vision and execution. And that means hard decisions are coming. If Hamilton cannot reset the trajectory early in the new season, he may find himself pushed aside not out of disrespect, but out of sheer necessity. For Lewis Hamilton, the most decorated driver in Formula One history, the pressure he now faces is unlike anything he has experienced in his two-decade-long career. The trophies, the records, the championships, all of that sits behind him. What's ahead is murky, fragile, and unforgiving. If 2025 was a disaster, 2026 could be his final shot at rewriting the narrative. But if he misfires again, it may not be Ferrari who ends his journey, it may be Formula One itself. Hamilton has always thrived under pressure. From his debut at McLaren to his dominant Mercedes era, he turned criticism into fuel. But the situation at Ferrari is different. It's not about bouncing back from a mistake, it's about reversing an entire season of disappointment in a team that demands perfection. And he's doing it under the microscope of a media ecosystem that has already written his obituary. That kind of narrative weight is not easy to carry, even for a champion. There's also the age factor. Hamilton will be over 40 by the time the 2026 season begins. While that's no automatic disqualifier, the sport has changed. The cars are more physically demanding, the competition is younger, and the margin for error is microscopic. Drivers like Lando Norris, George Russell, and Oscar Piastri are not waiting for Hamilton to return to form, they're taking his place in the spotlight. The sport is moving forward, and unless Hamilton evolves instantly, he risks being left behind. Within Ferrari, whispers of a post-Hamilton era are growing louder. Some insiders believe that regardless of how 2026 starts, the team is already preparing contingency plans. Names from Ferrari's academy are being mentioned more frequently. External options are being quietly evaluated. Hamilton may still have a contract, but in Formula One, contracts mean little when results vanish. The team is under no illusion they need a driver who leads on and off the track. And right now, that leader is Leclerc. Hamilton himself has remained silent on retirement, but some close to him have noticed a shift. He's still intense, still focused, but there's a visible weariness. The joy that once defined him seems muted. The weight of expectation, media attacks, and constant internal scrutiny may be eroding the edge that made him great. If that continues, 2026 might not just be his last year at Ferrari, it could be his farewell to the sport altogether. The wild card in all of this is the 2026 regulation change. The new cars, new power units, and active aero elements could, in theory, level the playing field and give Hamilton a second wind. He's a master at adapting, and if the new formula clicks with his driving style, there is still a window to reassert himself. But it's a narrow one, and the tolerance for another underwhelming campaign simply does not exist within Ferrari's walls anymore. So the question becomes brutally clear. Can Hamilton transform once again into the fighter who silences doubt and crushes expectation? Or will he become the legend who stayed one season too long? Ferrari won't wait to find out. and neither will Formula One.